Hi, welcome everybody. It's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy, and I've got a little interesting comparison here with some irons, and they're all blades. So recently just done a video and the review of the new King Cobra Forged MB iron on my channel. Recently just gone out, put a little link up, you can go and watch that. Very impressed with it. And a little bit of technology in there with the tungsten. I thought, well, it feels quite a forgiving iron. So I thought, let's compare that with some other blades on the market, which I'm going to do today in this video. So I've got the Callaway Apex MB, very small-headed, classic-looking golf club. Obviously, the very popular Mizuno MP18 blade, again, very classic sort of look. And then the real tour-inspiring P730 from TaylorMade. So going to hit all these clubs here together. Maybe have a little look at forgiveness levels, maybe some little bit of ball data, and see how they pitch up against each other, and which I feel is a little bit more friendlier for a blade iron. So if you're new to the channel and you're watching for the first time, welcome. I'm Michael Newton, and if you're enjoying the content, please consider hitting that subscribe button, the logo in the bottom right hand corner screen, MNG. Hit the bell icon to get notifications of future videos. If you're a regular viewer, welcome back. Thanks for supporting. Follow me on social media platforms, so both Twitter and Instagram, and both handles are at MN Golf Coach. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the Callaway Apex MB iron. Beautiful looking golf club, very classic. Nothing really happening technical wise on this. It's just a little thin bit of metal here, very simple. No tungsten, no weights shifting around, no milling, no whatever on this. It's just a very classic blade iron. Very thin top line, compact head, as you'd expect, very little offset. So I've got these all set pretty similar spec-wise. So 170 yards from the flag, and we're going to hit Apex first. I'm probably not going to show you all ball flights, but I'll show you a couple, and then we'll shift through these pretty quick. Yeah, it feels great, as you'd expect. Lovely soft feel. And that's hitting the green quite nicely there. And as we'd expect, just stopping a little bit sharpish. So all these lofts are pretty standard really in terms of more traditional, and obviously not strong lofts as we expect from these types of irons. They're all aiming for that ultimate control, not distance seeking, but just more control, feel, and you know, the control when it comes into land. You know, when I wasn't going to show you all the flights, I had to show you that one because that one nearly went in. Yeah, that feels really nice. I mean, to be fair, I've struck all those really well. Feels comfortable. It is quite a small, compact look, as you'd expect. The feel's great. The flight's nice and high. It looks to be stopping pretty quick, pretty consistent there. So quite enjoyed hitting that. So I'm going to switch now into the TaylorMade P730 batch of shots, then we'll switch on from there. Right, so P730 in our hands now, and again, it's a very similar look in terms of the squat compact head, thin top line, very little offset, small head behind that golf ball, but a little bit more of a squarer shape. Obviously it's a little bit round on the toe, but obviously a bit more square on its shaping against the apex, so more of a shaping difference here as opposed to a head size. But again, this is a 7 iron, pretty much spec similar to what we've had in the rest of them. Let's get this first one hit. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, that felt superb. Beautiful. A little bit higher ball flight maybe there. Interesting to see, and that stopped pretty quick. Not quite as long as the Apex on that shot there. Okay, so again, batch of shots. Won't show you all the ball flight unless I get a really close one. I'll show you that one. I won't show you the bad ones. I'll always show you the good ones. And then we'll look at the numbers towards the end. Okay, so there's 5 shots hit with the TaylorMade. 2 just missed to the right of the green, so not quite as accurate with the TaylorMade against the Callaway Apex. So felt great, looked superb. The flight was maybe a little bit higher there. The ones that hit the green look to be stopping a little bit quicker, so possibly spin number might a little bit more. But again, we'll look at those numbers towards the end. So I'm going to flick straight into the Cobra King Forged MB iron. Okay, so Cobra King Forged MB iron. I say, just recently done the video review of this, a brand new iron to the market, and it looks stunning. It's that black finish, which is obviously very different to what we've just seen with those first two irons. Again, very compact on the head. The shaping's a little bit more round and maybe against the TaylorMade, quite similar to maybe the Apex, very little offset, but this black shaft, black head gives it a very sort of stealth-like and quite a sexy little look, to be honest. And I really enjoyed hitting this iron as I did that review video, so hopefully I can hit some very similar. Same distance again from the green. Let's get this first one hit. Yeah, that feels lovely. I really do enjoy hitting that. I mean, again, it's interesting to see here because obviously the Apex and the P730 from those two brands, there's, apart from just the slither of metal, there's no technology in there. There's no real shifting away. There's no tungsten there. Now we are seeing that in the Cobra. We've got the CNC milling, as I went through in the review. We've got two little tungsten ports, one in the middle of the sole and one in the toe section. So just making MOI a little bit more forgiving. And again, I struck that quite well. I struck the ones in the video quite well. So maybe I haven't tested that forgiveness to its max, but I think just that I know that it's there, it just gives me that little bit of buffer. But the feel off this is superb. Yeah, lovely. Okay, so there's the King Forged MB iron. Struck, not too bad, feels good. Liking the flight of it, very similar to the other ones we've seen. Possibly not the longest we've seen, but again, I'm not too fussy about this distance. It's more about that accuracy, maybe a little bit of that control and the consistency side of things. So finally, we'll switch into the MP18 from Mizuno. Okay, so the classic MP18 in our hands from Mizuno. Now, just to note here, this is actually a 6 iron. The others have been 7 irons. This is a 6 iron, purely because it's a fitting iron, and Mizuno give their fitting irons as 6 irons, and where most of the others are 7. So, not ideal, I know, but I didn't want to leave this out because we know Mizuno make a very classic blade, and they have done for many years. So I wanted to put this in the mix. So yes, the numbers are going to be slightly different with this in terms of maybe a bit more ball speed because it's a 6 iron, less loft, 30 degrees of loft. Obviously, the launch is going to be a little bit lower, spin's probably going to be a little bit lower. So we need to take that into account, but I just wanted to maybe put it in the mix as well because of just of the nature of the club and the brand. So again, classic look there, lovely top line, minimal offset, beautiful shaping of the head, that polished heel and toe section with the more satin part of the face where the grooves are. Let's get this first one hit. Oh, that's stunning. Yeah, so as I expect, slightly lower ball flight, should go a little bit further, not quite spin as much, but that feels lovely. So that last one there was a little bit of a toe strike, probably the worst strike I've hit out of all those irons. Most of those are carrying between 177, 179 carry. That was 172, so toe strike there, dropping off. Obviously, again, this is maybe the disadvantages of a blade iron. When you do miss that middle, maybe a bigger drop off on that carry distance. Beautiful. Okay, that feels solid as evident and very much what you'd expect from a Mizuno iron. So, numbers time. Let's go and look at some numbers. We've got 4 irons there, 4 beautiful looking golf clubs in blades, ball forged. Let's see what the performance is doing. Start with the Callaway Apex MB iron. So club head speed was 92 mile an hour, ball speed 122, launching at 18, backspin averaging at 6.8, carry distance averaging at 169 on the carrier. That was a 7 iron there. So we saw the biggest distance with the Callaway, and we also saw the biggest ball speed with the Callaway there. Now obviously within Mizuno we're going to take a bit of yardage off here because it was a 6 iron. So looking at the P730, so ball speed was dropped by about 4 miles an hour against the Apex. Launch went up a little bit more and the spin crept up by two couple hundred revs to just over 7,000. So distance carry came down by 9 yards. So quite a bit of a difference of carry number there, but obviously a lot more spin, a lot more height on it. So definitely a slightly higher ball flight, a little bit more spin, so arguably a little bit more control possibly when it comes into land in relation to the Apex. We're looking then King Forged MB, so ball speed 119, so sort of in between the TaylorMade and the Callaway, launching at 19, so again in between the TaylorMade and Callaway, spinning at 7,100, so quite a highish spin number there. What I saw in the video, my review video, 162 carry. So again, the Apex is the longer hitting at the moment. I know this is not all about length here, but just to keep you informed that Callaway is longer hitting and still with a bit of control there. Then into the Mizuno, bear in mind this is a 6 iron, so we know the ball speed is going to be up. So 122, just under 125 ball speed there, so probably equivalent to probably around that Apex area, maybe just under that if it was into a 7 iron. Launching at 17, so again it's going to launch lower because of the loft, so that will probably be more sort of maybe 19 degree, 18 and a half, 19 degree possibly. Spin at just under 6,000, so maybe just under 7,000 with a 7 iron, and that was carrying at 177. Taking into account maybe 10 to 12 yards difference between each club, so as you drop down to 7 that might go into more 167, 165. So if we're looking at distance, maybe the Callaway is just peaking it. Looking at ultimate in terms of spin, then the Cobra King Forged MB is just edging it. Okay, so there's 4 very classic blade irons, sort of hit, tested, and the numbers looked at. So, as I maybe just saying there, if we're going to go on pure distance, then the Callaway Apex was edging that with a 169 carry. But still at a decent spin number of just under that 7,000, around that sort of 6-8 sort of area. So it's still got that control when it's coming into land. We did see a little bit of ball speed off that Callaway also. Shortest hit in there was the TaylorMade P730. So a little bit higher launching, higher spinning, great for control. So if you're a golfer looking for ultimate control and not too worried about distance and maybe happy to take a little bit of hit on distance, then P730 is maybe a good option. Looking at spin number there, the King Cobra MB iron gave a good spin number there. It's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, I think that the looks of them are all stunning. The feel of them are all stunning. And to be fair, I struck all those really well. I've had a good ball striking day today. Just that one strike with that Mizuno where I hit the toe, and we saw that probably that 8 to 7 yard drop off of carry distance there. But you're going to find that with all of them, really. Yes, the Cobra's got a bit of tungsten, so possibly if you move that strike a little bit, maybe just helping you out a little bit more than maybe the others who haven't got any help in there at all. In reference to other material in the head and you know, shifting sort of CG around the club face a little bit more. So interesting sort of review there. Let me know your thoughts. Which iron would you go for out of those? Would you take the distance, or would you take the higher spin number, or would you go for something in between? Obviously you might have a brand influence there in a way. You might prefer one brand over the other. That's, again, it's all down to personal, but ultimately you've got to go out and get fit for these clubs and try them all out yourselves. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Very much appreciate it. Again, social media platforms, I'd love you to sort of get in contact on there. Let's talk a little bit more online on the social media platforms, trying to help your games out. I sometimes put some sweet free swing tips out on there also. So Twitter at MN Golf Coach, and also Instagram at MN Golf Coach. And hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.